welcome to another episode of Our Voices #Unfiltered. And today I have with me our new guest.
Ayushi Singh from 11th Pearl.
Ojus Bhutka from 11th Pearl, the Orchid School.
So here we are with another very interesting topic, which goes like this: that do you think the definition of etiquettes and manners is changing, or should I say, evolving? So my first question to both of you, you can choose who wants to
You go.
answer first. That do you think actually there is any definition of etiquettes and mannerism which is constant?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
One definition of etiquettes and mannerism, when you think about it as a social perspective or how you interact with people on a social level, it's about respect, your body language, and how you say things, how you communicate with the other person. And when I say communicate, I don't mean just how you speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's about your body language. If you say something which is sweet, but then you roll your eyes afterwards, the value of your words is as good as nothing. So when I say communication, it's inclusive of your body language, your tone, your words, the choice of words, and that is the, I would say, broad definition of mannerism when you speak with others.
You want to add something to that?
No, it's like your mannerism etiquettes play a very important role. It's like it's your first impression that you're making with somebody.
Right.
Because if I have a good personality and I don't put it forward in a correct manner, you're going to keep on with it for like a very good time until your opinion changes in any other manner. So the way I behave, the way I talk to you matters a lot at first.
So what I gathered here is that mannerism and etiquette actually is a sum total of what you are,
Yes.
what you present yourself as to the world, and once you present, first impression is the
Yes.
last impression. And do you think once the impressions are made in terms of your etiquettes and mannerism can impact your path to success or your journey ahead from that point onwards, or your relationship for that matter?
It
It
can.
definitely can. I mean, the way you present yourself is the most important thing. I would say that it doesn't matter how smart you are. You could be a tad less smart than the other person, but if you're more respectful, if you have better mannerisms with a person, let's, for example, I'm working in a corporate company, me and Ayushi are working, and we have a boss, and I'm not that respectful, but I'm smarter. However, on the other hand, she's a tad less smart, but she's more respectful. She's gonna get more opportunities, and it's not gonna happen consciously, but it happens unconsciously. It happens that, you know what, this person treats me better. I would want to go and talk to that person. I
Even
wouldn't
on
want to
like
go and talk to someone who doesn't respect me.
even on school basis, it's like if somebody is very smart and comparing with somebody who's not that good and in studies or doesn't get that good of marks, but like their behavior towards their teacher is better, it's not like she's going to give you extra marks, but she's going to think about you a bit better. That even though it's not like you're smarter or you're getting good grades, but you still have a good how do I say it, good behavior towards your teacher.
The mutual respect.
Yes.
I'm asking you one question because you've taken the word smart.
Smart as in, I wouldn't say smart, but as in comparison of grades. So somebody who's getting better grades and somebody who's getting
Maybe
like
knowledge-wise.
yes, knowledge-wise.
But general idea of smartness is when you present yourself in a very active, smart, in a fashion which is more tidy, right? More structured when you talk or when you interact with some person. That is what is the smartness overall, right?
Right.
With your knowledge, of course, that is there. So when you say that smartness actually is the sum total of etiquettes and mannerism, right? And I'll just keep this, parked at one side right now. Do you think smartness or the manners and etiquettes are only required when we interact with someone, or is it part of the way you live, how you eat, how you sit, how you stand?
It depends on our whole life. As in,
Right.
you don't. If I'm sitting and having dinner, it's I sit straight no matter what. It's not even if I'm sitting alone and eating. It's not like I'll lie down and eat. I think mannerisms don't specify, like it's not specific to if you're talking to somebody. It's
Right.
in your daily life.
Yeah.
I believe that etiquettes and mannerisms change household from household.
Mhm.
For example, the etiquettes which may be at your household may not necessarily be at mine. Some households have rules that, uh, you know, you cannot have electronic devices while having food. You cannot watch TV. You cannot watch your YouTube while having food. And if you do that, that's considered disrespectful in one household. But maybe in another household, every single family member is doing the same.
Mhm.
So etiquettes and mannerisms that differ from household to household.
I now ask you a question from what he has just said. Do you think what he said actually is the real way of looking at whether this is etiquette or mannerism okay at one space and not okay with one space? Or these are universal realities?
I think it's there are certain things that should remain same everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
As in the example that he's just given, it can differ, like, you could watch TV and have dinner or something like that, but in some ways, like, there is like a basic etiquette. If you're sitting in class, you're studying, you can't lie, you need to be sitting
Yeah.
straight. I
So
think that's
maintaining the
a
decorum of the
yeah.
space, the basic protocols,
So
as we say.
some places there needs to the same etiquette needs to be followed everywhere.
Mhm.
That can't change from place to place.
For example, like to just add on to what I said, and to what you said about how etiquettes should change from place to place. For example, in the example that I gave about how family members watch TV, but if we have another family over,
Mm-hmm.
in that case, maybe watching television or watching something on your phone while having dinner with another family or with a group of other family members, that would be considered rude maybe.
Yeah.
But this, when you're sitting with just your parents and your brother, maybe it not be considered rude. So yes, obviously they differ, but as Ayushi said, there are some things, there are some basics which have to be universally true.
Basic courtesies, as we say,
Basic
Yes.
offering
courtesy.
cheer, just being there when you're talking to the person and not lost into your
Absolutely.
screen,
Yeah.
something like that. So, do you think there are some things which this generation of yours, like I have become very part of every generation because the role demands that I cannot specify that I'm there with this generation, so I have to behave like this. There's kind of a bit of everything in how we behave in day to day life from the location where I work from. Do you think there is certain things in terms of etiquettes and manners or basic courtesies are dying?
Yeah.
For example, sharing, and that sharing which comes with care, or when there is an adult standing offering a chair. I don't care. I with my headphones or earphones on. I don't care what you do. Sitting in a common public place. All those things. Do you think these need to be revived?
Um, I think, as you said, how etiquettes and mannerisms may have been changing. They've changed as I would say the previous generation or generations
Mm-hmm.
would respect the position of a person.
Uh-huh.
If you're a teacher or you're elder or you're my boss, I would respect you for that as a part of your generation. But our generation, I feel, has moved on from that fact, and they respect the person more than the position. You can be my boss, you can be someone who's elder to me, but if I don't respect you for who you are, then it doesn't matter to me what your
It's
position
difficult
is.
to then come naturally.
Yeah,
There's
so
an
that
effort.
is what happens when I've seen like it in my own life. I've witnessed it, and I've seen that just because someone is elder doesn't mean that nowadays they're going to get that respect from the young generation. Like for example, as you said, if there's if you're on a train and there's a elderly woman standing but you're sitting, our generation may or may not have the courtesy to get up and say, "Ma'am, you can please sit. It's okay, I'll stand." And I think these are some things which have changed absolutely, and I feel that some part of it needs to be revived. However, some part of it, I feel that it is, a part of our generation, and you can't really change the whole world, and it's going to continue forward. But I feel definitely some part should be taken back.
I would add on to him only. I agree with what he said, and as I had said before, that first impression matters a lot. I think we take first impressions for others into consideration a lot. Like he said that we olden times the position used to matter a lot, and here we look at person to person. So we judge by their first impressions, and we take a note on how to what kind of respect we're giving to them.
Mhm. So, what I've understood, like there is a slight contrast in how I grew up thinking about manners and etiquettes, and you have a different way of looking at it. Basic definition is still same. That when we say etiquettes, I'm sitting on a dining table. Wait for everyone to start, right?
Absolutely.
The basic courtesy to offer each other and then start, or maybe how you sit and how we do, and also how you walk into the classroom or how you walk into a place where the meeting is happening. That is what we, in a very formal setup talk about this. But mannerism is something which we are observing and are being
Absolutely.
observed in a very informal or casual setup also.
Absolutely.
I'm sure when you are sitting with your friends, very casual talk is happening, but you still like some because of their mannerism, and you do talk about something which you feel could have been changed. This is not the right way. What are those few things which you feel, even in a casual, very casual setup, that should be the defining thing to be taken care of? I'll start with you.
Could you repeat once?
Yes, we always talk about mannerism etiquettes in a formal setup, in a classroom or a meeting or a school, as we started with the bosses and all. But in a very casual setup also, there are certain, fine lines to be drawn. So is there anything which you feel, if this is not there, I probably will not like my friend to cross that line, or in terms of behavior or mannerism?
This is something that I have experienced once, so that if I'm very close with a certain group of people, I'll talk to them very freely. Like, we'll tease each other very often. But then there is a certain line, there is a certain boundary where you can't cross it. Like, teasing till a limit is fine.
Otherwise, it
Dep-
becomes bullying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, I know that I'm very comfortable talking to you. We can tease each other as much as we want. But then there's a line which, like, I shouldn't have to state it. You should just understand it on your own that it's there. So, like, a bit of better way of talking and understanding that line without me having to mention it is an important case.
So there are those few things which make you feel not so comfortable.
Yeah,
If you have to list 2, 3,
um I don't
in
think I
terms of
can.
mannerism only, like if somebody is behaving in a different manner, and what are those 2, 3 defining things for you as a person that I will probably not accept this. This manner is not acceptable, or this manner of your behaving or talking or using the language or the tone is not acceptable.
I think the words that you're using
Choice
while
of
talking to
words.
me,
Yeah.
choice of words,
Mhm.
there's a certain tone that you speak in.
Yeah.
So honestly speaking, it's like it's those few little things, that the words, the tone that you're speaking to me in, and your body language. Like he had said before that you can say very sweet words and then get an eye roll.
Yeah.
So then the whole meaning of the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
So that's the difference that it makes.
Right. But for you, are the 3 or
Things
2 things?
for me, friendship is a very, very free and open space where I can pour my heart out, my friends can pour their heart out. However, there's always a boundary to every relationship. And I feel in friendships, nowadays a lot of people are fake. Like they'll say something to my face, they'll be very sweet, but to 2 other people, they'll go and say, you know what, Ojus is like this, Ojus is like that, he did this, he did that. They'll start spreading rumors, fake stuff, and everything. That is something which is a boundary for me. That if hear about someone doing this, I'll go confront them once, and they'll be like, "Hi, I got to know about this. Is this true? If it is, can you please stop doing it, and etc." That, and if it continues, then that is a boundary. And other stuff when it comes to legal issues or anything, if anyone's trying to do something illegal or which could land me into trouble, and a little bit of adrenaline rush and all of that is fine, but anything which goes against the legal, against the word of the law, is big no.
Personally, I believe that, how you specify, oh, these are my friends, and then this is that one best friend that I have.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like, somebody who gets me without me having to specify that these are the things that, like somebody who I can talk with, truly not feeling that, oh, they're going to judge me, they're going to go and tell three different people that she talks a lot or something. I think that's something that makes that difference between, oh, you're my friend and you're my best friend.
So, if I really take what you just said, so mannerism is not just how you sit, stand, or walk, it's how you conduct, how you talk to me when I'm there, and how you talk about me when I'm not there is also their
Absolutely.
manner. And somehow this impacts the entire ecosystem of being friends,
Yes.
being comfortable with each other. And when we talk about etiquettes, I mean, because I am trying to understand that etiquettes are probably kept only for formal setup, right? But not for general, I'm out with my family to eat somewhere. I mean, at your age or at my age, the basic etiquettes to offer cheer to each other or to ensure that everyone is sitting comfortably and all. Do you think it's missing, or it's unmindfulness towards it?
I
I
feel
mean,
that
it
it
need not to
is.
be always formal
Yeah.
setting, but in a day-to-day life, also basic etiquettes and manners.
I feel that people have become unmindful
Uh-huh.
about their surroundings. There's a new term which has come, I'm not sure if you're aware, nonchalant,
Yeah.
which means that you don't really care about your surroundings, you're focused on yourself and basically about you. I wouldn't call it selfishness,
Mm-hmm.
but lack of awareness. Lack of awareness. And it is lack of emotion as well. Like if you're happy about something, show that you're happy about it. Don't be nonchalant, or don't try to act, don't suppress your feelings. So that is how people have become, a lot of people have become nonchalant, lack of awareness of their surroundings and unmindfulness. And like if I'm sitting next to her and she's a very joyful person, but if one day she's gonna stop, she's just sitting there in class silently, I'm gonna go and ask her that is something wrong with you, and
Respect,
that is
mutual
yes, that is that
concern for each other.
surround, that is the awareness of your surrounding, that this person is always laughing, is always joyful. All of a sudden, how come she's so quiet? There
So
must be
that is
something wrong.
concern and care. So we are talking about like for example, like you just give
Yeah,
example. You both are sitting and then you're not mindful and you are occupying your space and you're
yeah,
not bothered about like how you are feeling or how she is feeling. That is something
yeah,
that very you know uh, nowadays people are going to the schools to learn those finishing schools and all, but when we talk about in day to day life we don't even care about that. And
true.
then also what I have understood, if it is done to me I feel good about it and probably don't even acknowledge, but if it is something I have to do I don't care.
Right.
If that is a kind of indifference, something which we need to really sum up to say, I only want to tell my audience here that when we talk about etiquettes and manners, it's what I've understood that definition of it is now very individual. Like what I
Right.
perceive of it is different. What you two have defined in your understanding of the whole, context is very different. But for the overall well-being of the ecosystem and the relationships and the basic social and civic behavior, I think little bit of all this is important, and we need
Absolutely.
to be mindful of how we talk, how we behave, and how we make each other feel comfortable in our company, not only this
Yeah.
formal but in
In
a
a
very
formal setup.
informal
I think
setup also.
sometimes it also depends as in, the way you've said that if I'm occupying too much space. Sometimes I think it's like if it's happened with me before, then I'm more mindful of how I put myself forward in front of others. Like if it's like if he's taking too much space and I can't go up to him and tell him that you're taking too much space. But then next time if I sit with somebody else, I'll make sure that my actions are not that, like somebody doesn't feel uncomfortable because of my actions. Because I've been through that situation and I've felt uncomfortable there. So I try to put myself forward so that the other person thinks that I'm mindful of them also and then about my surroundings also.
I think my point is made when she said that I'll be more mindful, I'll be more careful that I make
Yes.
the person sitting next to me is
Comfortable.
comfortable and is,
Absolutely.
free enough to be
Yes,
what he or
yes.
she wants to be. Thank you so much for being so candid and so very open to share what you feel. As I said, it is unfiltered,
Yeah,
and you have done
absolutely.
justice with that. Thank you so much. Till the time we meet again. Thank you.